For those listening that haven't been to the Science of Skin Summit, it is unlike any other meeting that you go to. If you're used to going to the AAD or Fall Clinical, which are great meetings, it's a completely different line of education here. And so many actionable things you can bring back to your patients, especially if you also have an esthetician in the office. And if you're interested in social media and you learn at the Science of Skin Summit and also build on your social media skills, you're much more prepared to go out and have those conversations with your patients, with the world through social media.
Welcome back to Med Creator 101, the podcast for healthcare professionals on all things social. I'm Mimi Banks, CEO of MB Social.
And I'm Dr. Dustin Portella, board-certified dermatologist and content creator. And today we're excited to be joined by two additional board-certified dermatologists who are using their voices and their platform to educate both patients and practitioners, Dr. Ted Lane and Dr. Patty Ferris.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. For those of you, very few of you who are unfamiliar, we're just going to give you a little bit of background on who they are. Dr. Ted Lane is a board-certified dermatologist with nearly 20 years of experience in medical and cosmetic dermatology. In addition to co-founding and co-directing the Science of Skin Summit, Dr. Lane hosts a Skincare Confidential podcast along with Dr. Ferris, giving listeners an insider's view on the hot-button issues and innovations in skincare, aesthetics, and medical dermatology. He is often called upon to teach his peers and consult with pharmaceuticals and aesthetic companies nationally and internationally. Finally, Dr. Lane stays at the cutting edge of scientific advancement by running a clinical trial center focusing on the latest treatment for inflammatory skin disease, aesthetic innovations, and skincare.
And Dr. Patty Ferris is a board-certified dermatologist with over 35 years of experience across research, aesthetics, and clinical practice, and an international expert on topical skincare, cosmeceuticals, and nutraceuticals. She currently serves on the teaching faculty at Tulane University in New Orleans. She serves as a consultant for top beauty brands like L'Oreal and Neutrogena, but also enjoys working with startups looking to bring new technologies into the cosmetic market. She served as chair of media training for the American Academy of Dermatology, where she helped teach dermatologists how to navigate media interviews on television and in print, and how to conduct those concise, professional presentations. She's conducted over 200 health-related media segments while serving as a media expert for the American Academy of Dermatology. We're excited to have a conversation with both of you. I know that I've been on your podcast. I think Mimi has some other questions for you guys before we get going.
I sure do. I have not been on the podcast yet.
You're invited.
Thank you. Before we start, we like to get to know our guests a little bit beyond their bio. Are you open to answering a few non-podcast related questions?
I'm going to regret this, but yes.
We'll take it easy.
Yeah, exactly. They're pretty soft. Morning routine, skincare or coffee first?
Skincare.
Interesting.
Coffee, like a gallon, before I even think about skincare. Yeah.
I'm with you, Patty.
I am too. Intravenous coffee.
I just have a routine. Like, don't get me off of my routine. Things will go really bad for me if I get off of the routine.
What's your routine?
So I'm the coffee maker in the morning for my family. So I go and I make the coffee and then I run, shower, do the skincare, all of that. And then I'm able to have a cup of coffee while everybody else has already enjoyed it because I've made it for them. See, I'm a caretaker from the very beginning of the day.
I like that.
Wow. So you talk about skincare. What's your favorite skincare product to splurge on?
Oh, gee, for me, it's for sure vitamin C. I like to splurge. I love a good L-ascorbic acid that's stabilized. And unfortunately, that doesn't come cheap.
No, it really doesn't.
No.
You know, I use anything that's brand new. We are lucky enough, Patty and I, and I'm sure you guys as well, are lucky enough to have companies send us some of their brand new products, and I try them right out of the box. So I've got about 17 different things on my face that are different every day because I just love all the new stuff. So my splurge is the absolute newest thing. You could tell I'm an early adopter. Like everything that Apple puts out, I buy like right away. I just love all that stuff.
That's so true.
Are you a techie?
I fancy myself a techie, Mimi, but I really don't understand tech, but I like to, I just like to have the newest stuff.
You're a gadget guy, Ted. That's what you are. You're a gadget
I'm a
guy.
gadget guy. I'm a typical guy, I think. Yeah.
I'm the same way. I put more specs in my computer than I ever actually really need and don't need to spend that much, but I can't help it.
I was going to say, this is like Dustin, who educates me on the latest gadgets or tools all the time. And speaking of something that's closer to our hearts, what's one skincare myth you wish you would disappear forever?
There's a lot of them. We just did a podcast on skincare myths. There were so many of them. I don't know which one we would pick.
I guess one of them is this idea of sandwiching the retinoid, right, Patty? And this has just been a recent article that came out, or a recent publication from Kenvue. And they looked at whether or not you can sandwich your retinoid between layers of moisturizer and still get good efficacy from the retinoid versus the retinoid either before or after a layer of moisturizer and then not another layer of moisturizer. And what they found was something really interesting. And I think it changes our practice patterns right away, which is the sandwich technique actually does limit the efficacy of a retinoid, whether it is retinol or retinaldehyde or even tretinoin, versus applying a layer of moisturizer and then your retinol, which does not. So it's important to understand moisturizing with your retinoid is, of course, important, but that sandwich technique is probably not the best idea in order to maximize the efficacy of it.
Just get a retinol that you actually tolerate.
Yeah, there's that as well.
Yeah, exactly. But it's such a great study because we can put it right into our practices. I think for me, it would be sort of the Korean beauty thing. Not that I don't think their products are great, because I do, and I like them when I try them. But complicated regimens just have I've had an aversion to them. Like, I was a skinimalism person before that word even existed. I always thought a couple of good things has got to be better than 9 layers of stuff. And now we've got everybody with the glass skin and the heavy moisturization. So, I'm sort of a less is more girl, I think, in general.
I'm with you. I like that. We are in concurrence on all of those. My big thing is I just want people to have education. Obviously, companies have to market, but I want them to market when they make good products. And the thing that I have the biggest aversion to is fear-based marketing. When people use fear against products to try to get you to buy their natural alternative or something. If you are educated on it and you choose whatever is the quote unquote more natural thing, that's fine. But don't do something just out of fear, because we see all these people talking about toxicities and so many different things. And when you look at the data, there's just no data to back up the claims that are just out there making people scared. So I guess my thing, if I could just disappear fear tactic marketing, I would love to do that.
Can I piggyback on that? Because Dustin, I think you're exactly right. And I think one of the fear-based marketing tactics that people are using is clean and sustainable beauty, which literally has no definition. I was just talking to a patient yesterday who had all these different SkinCeuticals products, and I was helping her determine the order in which to use them. And we were just discussing all the data behind these products. And I was like, yes, I helped to produce some of this data. I'm really into this product line. I really know a lot about it. And she said, but one of my friends said that it wasn't clean, and so I shouldn't be using it. And I almost went off.
Almost? You sure?
Yeah. And so we just had to have a conversation about what I just said. There's no definition of clean or sustainable beauty. These are animal cruelty-free products that have no ingredient that is shown to be an endocrine disruptor or any of that other craziness that some people really buy into. So I really dislike when companies use that as the tip of the spear of their marketing, because it's disingenuous in my view.
But it's so big.
Yeah.
So big.
And it's so engaging, though, or it's the hook, as they would say on social media. So it like draws people in, and that's what people are retaining, which really brings me to my first question. I met both of you really through the Science of Skincare Summit many years ago when I did a presentation with Dr. Mamina. And since then, the Science of Skin Summit has really grown, going into its 5th year. But you both, have very impressive bios and backgrounds and such successful careers in dermatology. What inspired you to pivot into this more formal educational route and start the Science of Skin Summit?
I'm going to give Ted all the credit, but also blame Ted.
Well deserved.
For getting us into this monster project. I think it was COVID. We were just COVID crazy and talking on the phone literally every day because we couldn't see patients, of course. Like, what are we going to do today? And one day Ted calls me and goes, why don't we start a skincare meeting? And I'm like, I've been in the skincare space, honestly, almost 25, 30 years. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? That's genius. And that was it. I mean, there was never a flinch. We were just like immediate, like putting together the agenda and We pulled it off in 2021 in the middle of the COVID epidemic was our first meeting. And we were so blessed that we were supported by companies that really, we knew who the players, as you guys do, to go to, and they were so supportive of us. And so we found a niche. There really is a need for skincare education. As you guys know, we get very little in training. And we've had so many people over the years come to us and go, well, like, how do you learn that? And I'm always like, I learned it working with companies because I've been a consultant for so many years, but you don't learn it in a book and you don't learn it in a residency training program. You've got to learn it somewhere else. So now there's a place to learn it.
And just like social media for healthcare professionals, not something to my knowledge that's taught in medical school. Maybe there's going to be a class soon, but this kind of marketing or certain elements of education that is like on the job, real life learning through forums like this.
I mean, kudos to what you guys are doing as well, because while we're trying to provide a more formal education to our healthcare professional peers, what Dr. Portela is doing on a daily basis with you, Mimi, is so important, which is giving curated expert advice to people on social media. So helping out the consumer on social media as well as our peers on social media, we're providing a little bit more formal education and an educational meeting. I think all of it is required in order for us to elevate the level of education within the dermatologic sphere, as well as for the consumer so that they're choosing the correct product. Because I don't know if any of us have been in Sephora lately or any of these major skincare stores, but heck, I go to CVS and I'm overwhelmed. So it's so important for there to be good education from an expert like Dr. Portela on social media. And then we think it's important for us to provide that education to our peers as well. So really kudos to what you guys are doing. It's so important. And I think it's actually a great relationship that we have, having that derm influencer course at the Science of Skin Summit that you guys have been doing the last couple of years, which has been so well attended, so that we can increase the number of our peers who are out there on social media providing this advice and drowning out the noise of these so-called skin influencers who really have no training, whereas the derms, as we know, are the experts in skin.
Yeah, I think it's a critical need in the industry because even as much as, I'm into the skincare space on social media and everything, I can still walk into Sephora and see a half a dozen brands I've never heard of, or people will bring them into the clinic. And I'm like, I don't know anything about this brand. I got to go research and learn it. And I look at ingredients. And at this point, I have some education on ingredients. But when we look at the Science of Skincare Summit, what are the core pillars that you're trying to get across to industry? And also, I want to piggyback on that. Who is this for? Who comes to this conference? And then the pillars of what you're trying to teach there.
It's such a great question. And Ted and I really wanted to open the umbrella to put a tent that was inclusive of a lot of healthcare professionals. So we have an esthetician only track, as you know, a very large supporting group of estheticians that comes. They love learning from each other. We've got amazing people serving as our directors of that. Sarika Diaz out of Houston and Renee Rouleau, who has her own skincare line, is a celebrity esthetician. She's amazing. And both of them are just over there killing it, just doing an incredible job putting education out for their peers. So we wanted to have a big group, whereas many of the derm meetings, as you know, they're exclusive to dermatology. So we've got estheticians sitting in our general session with us, learning about, we've done everything from ingredient primers to how do you pair skincare products with procedures like lasers and chemical peels? And then we get industry specialists up there, industry partners, research scientists, formulators. We have a formulation session this year, which I'm really excited about because I love hearing formulators. It's something we really don't know how to do and don't totally understand. We're doing longevity and regenerative again. We did regenerative last year, but longevity will be new this year. Ted, what other new sessions did you put in? Lots of them. I blame him.
And what we did this year also was we thought about all the different aspects of dermatology that are touched by skincare. And so we have a medical dermatology track that we've expanded to nearly a full day with true experts talking about inflammatory and autoimmune diseases that we are commonly treating now in dermatology, but have skincare that go alongside them. And, in addition to everything Patty talked about, we added a hair session because hair is so big now. And as we've seen, companies like CeraVe, for example, are now moving into hair, which shows you the skinification of the scalp is happening. And so we need to be experts in hair care as well.
And speaking of hair with CeraVe, did you catch Dustin on SNL for
No.
CeraVe hair care?
Yes, I did.
Patty missed it. Patty, we'll send it to you.
Send it to me. I love that.
It was very cool, Dustin.
I really like the idea of bringing dermatologists and estheticians together at the conference, because one thing that I was frustrated about on social media early on is that estheticians don't really know much about what we do in dermatology. And I saw many estheticians then talking about how dermatologists don't know any skincare. And we know that we don't get a ton of that education in our residency programs, but it doesn't mean that we don't intimately understand skin physiology and a handful of ingredients. And also many dermatologists, if they don't have an esthetician in their office, may not know what they're doing, always assume that they're overstepping their scope. And so integrating these two where we can learn from each other and learn what each other do, I think is an important part of the conference.
Yeah. And we actually have a panel on that where we've invited some of our colleagues. How do you integrate an esthetician into your practice?
Mhm.
And we've got some people who were really doing it before it was a thing. I mean, now almost everybody in the cosmetic dermatology practice has an esthetician. It's essential. It's crucial. But this should be an interesting panel. Really interesting.
And speaking of interesting panels, Dustin and I would be remiss if we didn't mention the most anticipated, highly waiting for opener panel, Dermfluencer University.
Absolutely.
We were privileged to partner on this last year and launch this, but I want to hear from both of you as to why you felt, and we'll talk a little bit more about what the panel is, but why you felt Dermfluencer University was important to add to your meeting that's largely focused around skincare.
We listen to our stakeholders, and our stakeholders include industry. Our stakeholders include the estheticians, the APPs, and the derms that attend our meeting, as well as the non-core physicians that attend the meeting. And we had been approached by multiple companies about developing something for social media. They felt like it was so important, especially in the skincare space. I think industry wanted to have a little bit of a role in terms of what is being put out, the education that's being put out. And they felt like they could help us with the Science of Skincare. We've rebranded to the Science of Skin Summit now, but at that point, Science of Skincare, that was a good venue to start a formalized influencer education for the dermatologist and the APP. And, we thought of you guys immediately. Again, Mimi had been with us as a presenter for a few years, and we have great respect for Mimi and Dr. Portela. We've known each other for years now, and we've seen your growth on social media. And so you guys seem like the perfect partners to really pull this off. And we're so excited about how it went last year, as were our attendees, as were our industry partners, that definitely needed to happen again this year. And it's growing.
I think we got to give a shout out to Aven, who supported it for us last year, and we'll be supporting it again this year because they really saw the vision right away. And I also think skincare and social media, I mean, that's the intersection really of what took social media for dermatologists and skin influencers, really took it viral. So many people, when you read the literature, are getting skincare information off social media. So to come to our meeting and learn social media and learn what's real science about skincare, to me, it was just a natural, again, an intersection between two educational opportunities that needed to exist together in one place. And we're super excited about it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. When we see the quality of education that you put forth at the Science of Skin Summit, that's great for the providers to learn that, but we do want to empower them to go then out and take it beyond the walls of their clinic, take it online, educate through the podcast, through the Dermfluencer University. We try to help everybody find their own way of doing that because, we don't need everybody doing the exact same thing. You have to lean into your personality, understand the skills that you need, the tools that are necessary, and those are a lot of the things we try to put forth through the podcast and through Dermfluencer University. And this podcast has really kind of grown since last year when we did that, Mimi.
Yeah, it really has. Well, what's cool here is not only that's grown and the panel has grown. So we have some amazing co-presenters on the panel. We're going to talk about TikTok. We're going to have Dr. Mamina. Doris Day is joining us. We were just talking about that. Who's new? Dr. Lou, Dr. Zubritsky. On the different facets of social, we're still going to have real talk, so they answer your burning questions. And then also we have a new actual hands-on workshop. So putting theory into practice, which I think is a crucial element at this point.
We agree.
That's something that we thought about last year. And We just couldn't put it all together last year because this ended up being a little bit of a time crunch. But this year we had more runway to really think through how we were going to do that workshop afterwards. And so for I don't know how many people we're allowing to go into the workshop, Mimi, but you'll probably have a better idea of that. But for the chosen few that get to come to the workshop and really work hand in hand with Dr. Portela and Mimi and some of the other faculty, I just think it's such an amazing opportunity to learn from the expert as creators and give you tips and tricks and pearls that you can take home immediately to start building your creator role on social media.
I agree. And I think from where I sit, from the social media agency perspective, from working with talent to working with brands to working with providers, is the key difference between someone who's good and great is how they are with their content. How good are they at conveying the message, telling a story, engaging their audience, using that small space to bring people in and really create content that resonates and is easy to understand.
Yeah.
Oh, such a skill.
For those listening that haven't been to the Science of Skin Summit, I want to give my pitch and also let Ted and Patty give your pitch, but it is unlike any other meeting that you go to. If you're used to going to the AAD or Fall Clinical, which are great meetings, it's a completely different line of education here. And so many actionable things you can bring back to your patients, especially if you also have an esthetician in the office. And if you're interested in social media, and you learn at the Science of Skin Summit and also build on your social media skills, you're much more prepared to go out and have those conversations with your patients, with the world through social media. And that's kind of my pitch on it. And I want to open it up to you, Patty and Ted, and see if there's anything you would add to that to encourage people who are maybe on the fence about attending to go ahead and punch their ticket and get there.
We hope everyone wants to punch their ticket because I think you hit it on the head. It really is an unusual meeting. It's not like all dermatology meetings, and we love the uniqueness of it and the fact that we have estheticians on podium, we have scientists on podium, we have researchers, we have people who are innovators, we have all of the stakeholders in the space, It's just not like any other meeting. And I think it's something that people would enjoy experiencing. Plus, we have a ton of fun. So that's always great. We have a good crowd and we try to plan some fun social activities so everybody can mix it up and mingle. And you can meet presidents of companies and people who are actually making skincare products and have real one-on-one conversations. It's not just sit in a room and listen to PowerPoint after PowerPoint, although we have didactics, of course, but try to make it different.
I think what we're trying to do with the meeting is mimic dermatology as a whole. So in the exhibitor hall, you'll see your huge pharma like Lilly and Amgen and Pfizer side by side with the tiniest little skincare company that has one product, but it's really innovative. And we thought that they needed to be in the exhibitor hall. And so it's everything in between. And so it's a way for our audience to come in. 70 companies will be in the exhibitor hall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's grown a lot.
Congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you.
Thank you. So they'll be able to really understand what's going on in dermatology writ large right now, understand in terms of aesthetics and skincare and inflammatory disease. All of that will be on podium as well. We have an innovator session. If they're interested in investing in companies that are really small, there's an opportunity for that. There's a leadership session if they're interested in becoming a key opinion leader or thought leader, how to do that. If they want to be a social media person, we have that as we've been talking about. So again, it's the idea of mimicking our specialty in one comprehensive educational event. And by the way, bring your cowboy boots. We're going to have a ton of fun because Patty and I don't do anything unless we have a lot of fun, essentially.
Yeah, it's in Austin. It's a great city.
Everything we do is a vehicle to fun. And Austin is fun. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned the innovator session because we do have a lot of young companies that have technologies that are just amazing. So we're giving them a platform. They can get up, present a few slides, talk about what they're doing that's different. It's all not necessarily just what's now, but like what's coming. Where's this industry going? Where's skincare going? Where's dermatology going? It's such an exciting specialty. I think we're the most blessed physicians to be able to be in it.
Yeah. A couple of things that you said that I think also make the meeting unique. When you speak about the innovator session, the chance to meet presidents of companies, there's some, and I don't want to get too specific, but there's some meetings or conferences that feel like they're very locked down. Like you're there as a student and there's no opportunity to grow your career through that. You just sit, you learn, you walk away, and the people that run it are always going to be the people that run it, and they're not going to bring you into their club, so to speak. And you guys are providing opportunities for network. If somebody's coming in with a vision and they want to learn how to formulate, they're going to be able to connect with the people. If they want to become an advisor and an investor, there's that opportunity. So you're sharing so much opportunity with the attendees to advance their career in new and unique ways that I think are not present at a lot of other conferences.
That's exactly it.
And the other thing that I was going to say, and I'm not as experienced by any stretch of the imagination, I've been to AAD, which is massive, but there's something intimate and personal, I think, that I've experienced. And I think that's probably because of both of you and the nature of the culture that you built around this incredible meeting, is that there's that shared desire for community. So I think it's community in how you bring everybody together. It's community in the events. It's community in the topics. Everything is formed around that sense of community, which, as somebody who's not a healthcare professional, that's really on the outside, I didn't feel like an outsider.
I was going to say, not a chance nice. Are you an outsider. You are so in the inner sanctum. Are you kidding me? No. But thank you for saying that, because that's exactly what we strive for. We want everyone to be part of the community. There's a lot of democratization. You know, we've got big companies, the L'Oreal's and Neutrogena sitting next to, like Ted said, a guy who's got one product and an idea. You know, that's genius, that we thought you deserve to be on the floor. So it's cool. That. I had one friend who came for the first year. He had a small company, came up to me after day one. He goes, people are trying to buy my company. I'm like, cool. And he's like, yeah, but it's like, I wasn't expecting that. But you got a lot of piranhas in there looking for new, cool stuff. So, I mean, it's really a place where people can go to the next level, even if you're a manufacturer and you're just looking for a boost or you're looking for an investor. And it's really so interesting. I think, Ted, truthfully, we never would have expected it to have taken off and to become what it is. But we love it, and we welcome everybody who's out there listening to come to the summit. We should probably say that it's September 5th through the 7th in Austin, Texas, just to mention that. And we still have registration open. It's scienceofskinsummit.com on our website. You know, we grew it last year. We had about 650 attendees, and we hope we have more this year. And welcome everybody who's a healthcare provider who's interested in the space or works in an office or has her own esthetician practice or whoever. Mimi Banks, she's in the inner sanctum. We got social media.
We have social media. Exactly.
Got it covered.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. This is amazing. Can't wait to see you in just a few short weeks now.
Super excited.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
Yeah. We have anxiety. We call each other every day with a new anxiety attack. Okay. Yeah. What did we do this? So it's, you know, kind of crescendos at this point. But thank you guys. And thank you guys for supporting us and coming and helping us with the Dermfluencer. That's something for sure, Ted, you and I couldn't pull off on our own. Not even close. So thank you guys so very much. And we appreciate the opportunity. We really do. We enjoyed this tremendously.
We hope to see many of you listeners there come up and say hi and attend as much of the conference as you can. Dermfluencer University, of course, near and dear to our heart as the ones who are putting it on. We are excited to share more of that knowledge with you. And some of the things that we've added to it, I think, are going to be really exciting. We've already plugged the Science of Skin website. We'll have that down in the podcast show notes. Patty or Ted, you guys want to plug your own Instagrams or the Science of Skincare Instagram?
Yeah, Science of Skincare Instagram, please. We'd love for you guys to follow us. That would be amazing. And we have our own podcast, which is called Skincare Confidential, where we interview many of the people that we talked about, the research scientists, the formulators, the chiefs from cosmetic companies who are really, you know, making the industry turn on its head, so to speak. And then we have lots of key opinion leaders who are either developing their own product lines or they're interested in certain areas. I was mentioning to Mimi, we'll have Dr. Doris Day on, do an interview with her on menopause, which is a super hot topic in skincare and dermatology right now. So check us out at Skincare Confidential as well as Science of Skin Summit.
Anything to add there, Ted?
I mean, thank you so much. I'm at Dr. Ted Lane on Instagram. And Patty, you're at?
DermDoc Patty.
DermDoc Patty, which I love.
So we'll have all those linked in the podcast show notes. And one last plug, please consider attending the Science of Skin Summit. We'd love to see you there and We can all promise you it'll be a great learning opportunity and a whole lot of fun. If you guys have enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and leave us a 5-star review on any podcast player that you happen to be listening on. Shoot us your questions at MedCreator101 on Instagram, and we'll catch you on the next episode.